Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another exciting Minecraft discussion today. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am thrilled to have a chat with you about making decisions with intention. And it might sound, oh, basic, I know what I'm doing. We think we do a lot of the time, but here's the deal. We are all walking around making decisions every single day, right? Some are active, though. Some have this sort of deliberate, conscious intent, and then some are passive, yet the decisions still get made. And sometimes we have to really dig to find out what our pure intention is, because we really can think and believe that what we're doing is for whatever reason we're doing it for, when in reality, it's often to please other people, Oprah, I was listening to Oprah. She's one of my greatest life teachers, to be honest with you. And Wayne Dyer's another one. I listen to lots of people, but those two are probably the top two podcasts that I listen to on the way into campus to Champlain, because the two of them, like the dynamic duo for me, just teaching. And Oprah was talking about this recently, speaking to me, one of my dear friends, she just doesn't know, about how we can kind of slide around on autopilot sometimes, not really getting, sometimes for months and months and even years sometimes, not really realizing what our intentions are. And she uses the example of maybe if you're that person who picked up everybody's kids, and we think about, oh, it's because so-and-so is the single dad, so-and-so just had surgery and her mother's helping her, but she doesn't have enough help, so I'm going to do this. And we're not saying don't go out of your way for people, like, of course. However, when it's a pattern of needing to be the nice person and getting our self-esteem that way, gets codependency. It's coming from the ego. If our self-worth is coming from the disease to please, that's the false self. It's mine less giving versus mine full giving. And I didn't think of this until I did the take one of this, so I call those the rehearsals when that happens. That doesn't happen that much, because I usually just wing it, to be honest with you. I have some bullets in my head, stuff I want to talk about. It's all just authentic, just rolls out of me. And what I did before this, I started talking about something that it was kind of buried, to be honest with you. And I thought about it, and I said, you know what, this is a really good example. I'm going to get it together for a couple minutes. I did like a little clarity thing in between takes here. And I thought, wow, because one of my biggest, well, actually, Oprah would say there are no mistakes and no failures. It felt like that for a long time. Though when I look back at it, I was so off track, and I did not realize it at the time, like we don't. This goes back to when our youngest son was playing Little League, and I took over the league mostly to be able to get control of coaching his team. Because baseball, I love baseball. I'm a total Yankee fan. And our youngest son loves baseball in general. We just used to be into the statistics as a little guy and just loved playing. We play catch. There are a gazillion dents. I can walk the camera out there and show you the dents that are still in the garage. And I don't know that I'll ever repair those doors, because they have such great memories of him pitching and hitting and everything like that. But anyway, so there's some reasons I took over the league, and some of them are authentic, and then I look back, some of them weren't. So obviously my authentic love for our son, and that this was our thing together. And the thing is, way back then, I don't know if it would be true today in 2022, but it was definitely true at that time. He's 27, so that was a decade and a half ago. And the vibe was a very, very patriarchal situation. Wonderful small town we live in. It was male dominant. The whole thing was male dominated, and no way, no how, at that time was a woman going to have an opportunity to coach the boys' little league team. It was a highly coveted volunteer position in this small town, and I'm like, this is his thing. This is our thing together. I was good at baseball as a kid, and I love it, and I have something to offer here because of experience and playing in high school. Not that that's a huge or anything, but I could do it, and I knew I could do it. And it was intimidating to be in this all-male world. So I didn't look at it until I was just doing the video before this one that I wasn't going to use, because I was kind of all over the place with memories. I didn't realize it till I reflected back on it, that was part of the inauthentic part. Okay, the authentic part was loving the kid, loving baseball, loving that it's our thing together. And some of the inauthentic part was making up for being female, ridiculous, but that was the world at that time, at least this little world. Again, wonderful town. It's just happens to be the truth. So if anybody sees it, they see it because that's what happened. And it went really well. The coaching, the team went well. The guys did well. The parents on that team were actually excellent. This one especially was incredible with helping me we got them Little League jackets with their names on them, and they were mostly very good. And some things didn't go so well. I also, part of the inauthentic part, which to me, I felt like I was being a good person, I got them all in pinstripes because the Yankees and our town colors fit with that because they're navy blue and white. And my husband and I put a little bit more money in when there wasn't enough, and I started getting all kinds of flack. Here I was killing myself. So I became the person, in addition to coaching, we had a big Suburban, what was that? Expedition, big truck. I was that person picking up the kids like Oprah was talking about when I was listening to her in a podcast. And I didn't even get that I was being that person at that time. I was so off track. When I look back at it, it's like, wow, I didn't realize how off track I was. So I was that person, ran myself in the ground. And I was also fortunate enough to be home with the kids for the most part. I did little professional workshops here and there, but like 98% of the time I was home with them. And so there was also this vibe of, well, Kim's just home. She can pick up my kid and that was on me, not them. That was on 100%. I own it because I put out that vibe. I was that yes person. Being a yes person is inauthentic. And it comes down to mindful giving versus mindless giving. It was a mix, but I would say there was a high degree of mindless giving, being that yes person. And then there were a couple of kickers in there. This is, no pun intended. In addition to all that, I did a newsletter and made sure I got everybody's kid in there, even if they were out in right field picking dandelions. I came up with something nice to say. And people had things to say about that. Not most of them, just a few. And then I started a cleat collection, like a donation for kids who couldn't afford them. And I never said this to anyone, but many of them came from our own family. And I just said, just take them. And then I had a woman come to the garage once, and she got kind of snarky with me. Well, like you're doing this and you're doing that. And what do you mean, size 6 cleats? And I'm going, oh my God. So I'm thinking, I'm doing all this I'm doing all of this, and I'm not being appreciated, right? And that's all ego, false self, codependent stuff. And then the real kicker that did it for me, and again, the majority of parents are good, so I have to say that. I just had a handful with the umping thing that would, you're not making good, because I did that too on top of it. You're not making good calls. And I'm thinking, why don't you get off your lazy ass and help me? That's what I wanted to say, but I was a little too busy and probably at that time wouldn't have said it. So then the other kicker was and finally I got the drift and wound it up and whatever, and looked back and just like I was being so redirected and just wasn't listening to the whispers, as Oprah says. I wasn't listening to the whispers, and it was turning into bricks, like one after the other after the other. And so I finally just got out of that, and it was a great learning experience. It was hard, but this is the thing. My very good-hearted uncle out in Michigan owned a trophy shop, and I did trophies for the kids, and they're like 11, 12 years old. They should be able to get that. Not, there's one MVP, and I had a lot of them. I had like highest batting average, lowest ERA, so there are lots of trophies to get, and I never told parents this either. My very good-hearted Uncle Johnny out in Michigan sent all these trophies from his trophy shop. I sent him a check from the league, which he never cashed, gave them to us, and I had just a few, again, most were good, a few parents saying, well, my kid didn't get one, and these kids are 11 and 12, not 4. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? I was so locked into this making up for being female, and then just throwing niceness everywhere. And part of it was also being from out of state, because I was really trying to do good stuff for the town. I was trying to fit in. I didn't realize that till later. Like, look at me, look at everything I'm doing for the town. Newsletters, we had a barbecue at the house even. And then, what do you mean you're not appreciating me, right? And so this all goes back to the make decisions with pure intentions. I was not in the place I am now where I could have uncovered that at that time. But my intentions, in addition to wanting to coach our son, and which that was the good part, and were really, I was exchanging niceness for external approval in a lot of different directions. And that doesn't generally go well. And it didn't in some ways, And it's so important to really realize and ask ourselves, why am I doing this? Am I exchanging niceness to be liked and approved of? Because that only goes so far, and you get burned out and resentful and just plain old pissed off that you're not being appreciated. And here's the thing, and people get used and abused being the yes person. And again, I am not putting that on anyone. We live in this wonderful little town. It was only a handful of parents. The high majority were awesome, actually. But I own this. I put myself in a position to have some of those whispers turn into bricks. That was me, because I was, not knowing it, trying to exchange lots of niceness, tons and tons of energy to look what we've done for everybody. We fit in here. We fit in here, and it didn't work at all. It backfired. And although the coaching the kid was great, that was the one good thing. And the thing is, not only is it inauthentic, the whole disease to please thing, and it backfires usually, eventually, when you run yourself on the ground, is we cannot live an authentic, courageous life, a brave life, if we're concerned about disappointing people at times. Because when we are living an authentic life, if we're living an authentic life, so we're doing, conscious acts of kindness, not niceness. Niceness is fakey ego crap. But conscious acts of kindness, when we really want to say yes, only when we truly want to say yes and it's real. And remember that life, or mindful giving, fills us up. Mindless giving, like some of the stuff I just shared, drains us, okay? It might be a quick dope fix in the beginning, and it is, but eventually it's long-term burnout. Mindful giving is authentic and doesn't do that at all, because the authentic self doesn't need any external approval. She's good to go just as she is. So when we hear everybody loves so-and-so, everybody loves so-and-so, and she's the nicest person in the world, my antenna go up, because I'm thinking, I don't want to judge, didn't meet you yet, but I'm thinking, if everybody likes you, I'm thinking that's not on track, because if everybody likes you, something's kind of wrong. And also with the boundary people, that when you set up boundaries and you're saying no when you mean no, not yes when you mean no, the only people that are going to be disappointed are the people who really benefited when you were a doormat. They really benefited when you took their kid to every single little league game, and we live out there, so they weren't like when I was a kid. They were all on field A and B, and they were all right there on the college campus. You could literally watch 3 different kids play a game if you just walked around. Here, they're sometimes a half an hour, 45 minutes away from each other, and we had 5 kids on 6 teams at one point. So just imagine that, and think about it. That we cannot. What am I trying to say here? The boundary thing. The people who are going to be disappointed are the people who it really worked for. You had their kids, you did everything. I even got the McDonald's on the way back out of my own pocket a lot. And, who cares, right? And it works for those people. All of a sudden you put up a boundary and just, no, I can't take your child today. Those are the people who are going to be bent out of shape. The people who are supporting you, and they want you to rise. They want you to be successful, and you know what I mean by success: feeling comfortable in your own skin, being authentic, living your highest vibe self. The people who are supporting you because they love you and they want you to live your highest version, they're going to understand when you can't do something. They're going to understand, even if they're disappointed, they get it because you're on this authentic track and you're doing what you need to do, and that's okay. So that's it. And I would say that you want to get rid of the barnacles on your butt is really what I'm saying. And say, if you want to say yes because you mean it and that's your real intention, go for it. Don't say yes when what you really mean is no, because then those whispers turn into bricks, not good for you and not good for anybody. So make decisions with the purest of intention. Know what that intention is. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.